Welcome to Waypoint, a podcast for fans of superhero podcasts. That is an accurate description of it. I'm Jules, I'm the game master.
I'm Sanya and I play Charlotte.
I'm Viola and I play Moon.
And I'm Mimi and I play Max, the team leader, I have to say again.
Shut up.
Yes. And your amazing leadership qualities will become apparent once more today, because you guys have a fight ahead of you.
Yeah, maybe this will be the first time we don't have to check the unprepared and off balance thing. I would like that.
You mean you basically spent the entire last episode preparing?
We have some nifty stuff now.
One would hope we are prepared.
And also very badly arguing with Black Hole.
I mean, very badly arguing with Black Hole is something you can do again this episode.
Okay.
I'm sure. Either way, yes, you've prepared last episode for the fight. You, of course, absolutely knowing what was ahead of you, met up with Black Hole to study her last night.
Yes, that's
so
what
you're
happened.
prepared for the fight. And Moon made the best of it and built bracelets that make Charlotte's fist vibrate, and you can use that for fighting Black Hole. At least that's the intention.
Yes.
And I would say I give the scene to you. Moon has been working all night at these vibrating bracelets and has been moved to her bed by Enoch. And
That was adorable.
Yes.
I assume that you meet up in the morning to make your plans.
Yeah, I feel like Max hasn't slept much to begin with, and will probably be awake very early.
If no one, Moon will probably sleep until someone wakes them.
Yeah, Charlotte will probably also get up very early because she also hasn't slept much.
So who
After
wakes
that.
Moon? Who's the cruel person?
I mean, probably Max, right?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Team meeting in 10.
Okay, 15. I assume you meet in the meeting room, the one
Yes.
with the fancy superhero team table with the 3 symbols that you don't know.
So, Charlotte, good morning, by the way. Oh, I see you. You all slept as much as I did. I found some stuff out during the night, and I made a thing. And Moon holds up one of the vibracelets.
What's that?
It's, you know how we thought that Black Hole only vibrates when she walks through stuff? I analyzed the footage, and I got some help. And I figured out that her powers are actually, she's vibrating all the time, but she's vibrating at a frequency where our eyes can't see it. So she doesn't actually interact with anything. And what's really weird is that means that this thing that we were told that there are some very dense materials that she can't walk through is total bullshit. So I have no idea why she stayed in prison when she could have just walked out there whenever she wanted, but she did. But that also means that if you want to punch her, you're gonna face right through her. And with these bracelets, you can actually vibrate your fists at the exact same frequency that Black Hole is and actually punch her and hold her and stuff like that.
That's very weird, but thank you for doing that. But
I would
why did
recommend
she
getting
say-
a short training session with Starbolt 2 to get a hang of the phasing stuff. I don't want your hand to get stuck in a wall or something.
While we're talking really quick about Starbolt 2, Max, did you wake him up?
I don't think yet. I probably thought it would be better to have a team discussion first.
Yeah, makes sense. All right.
you want Starbolt to be there as well?
He doesn't have to be there, but I would recommend he can do the whole vibrating and phasing stuff. I would recommend trying it on him first before you go into a battle situation.
You're probably right.
And I mean, strictly speaking, it's his mission. We're just here to help out.
I mean, we were also contacted by Black Hole, or I was, so it's not only his mission
if you
anymore.
hadn't known that she had robbed a bank, would you be seeking her out right now?
Listen, we are helping him out, so we can't keep him out of this entirely. I just thought we as a team should decide how to do this before involving him.
Okay, so I guess we just wake him and we get to training.
Maybe we should decide on a plan first. Fighting Black Hole is one thing. Finding Black Hole is the other thing. She said she really missed Starbolt, the original Starbolt, because she enjoyed like the challenge of fighting him. So maybe if we challenge her like publicly, she'll come out, but that's no guarantee.
I mean, she's definitely interested in me. I think it might work if I challenge her publicly.
I think it's worth a try, because that way we can probably better control how and where we face her.
Yes, exactly. We can choose a place where there's no civilians around and no one will get hurt. I think that should be a priority for us.
Preferably with like a lot of open spaces where she can't like ambush you in the middle of a wall. Is there like a desert or frozen lake or something? Even a big park would do it.
Well, I think it's actually a good idea if we do it outside of the city with, less people around. Because I don't want anyone to get hurt because of the fight between us.
The question would be if she goes for it.
I mean, we choose the place, we tell her where to go, and if she is brave enough to challenge me, she can, come.
Yeah, that doesn't smell like a trap at all.
Yeah, but that's what she likes, right?
I think she would be more likely to show up if it's in the city and not outside.
Yeah, but we need to find a place where there are not a lot of civilians, because we're fighting a very powerful villain, and she can definitely hurt a lot of people.
You did look at this holographic projection of the city, I think last episode or the episode before, especially of Riverside. And in the closest vicinity, like Waypoint is a pretty tightly packed city, but there are some options, I'd say. The closest one is probably the docks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Most of them have gone out of business or are barely in use anymore, so there is a lot of like abandoned space there.
I mean, the docks would be interesting. Like, Starbolt 2 and I can also walk on water a little bit.
Might be a good idea. Also, there's probably like some metal, like cranes or containers or something that would be very good for Max.
Yes.
Like having stuff to magnetize herself to, or throw, or conduct lightning or something.
And the other bonus is that we are not going to get into the territory of another hero.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Okay, now we know where. But the question that still stands is how. How can we get Black Hole to go there? Like, I think we have to find out, like, what does she actually want? Like, what can we offer her or threaten to take away that will make her come to us?
I mean, I think mostly she just enjoys the challenge.
That's what she said, but...
Because we can't offer her riches or whatever, because she has so much and just, can just walk into a bank again if she needs money.
Well, we do know that she keeps an eye on the Starbolts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, she did mention in the conversation with Charlotte that she saw both of them at the bank.
When she talked to you, Charlotte, she was trying to get you to see her point of view. Maybe. And you rejected her.
Yes.
I have an idea, but I'm not sure if that's ethically okay to do. Maybe Starbolt 2 could be bait? Like, we could fabricate some story that something happened with the SOS and he's like super fed up with it and he's trying to contact Black Hole to go over to her side.
I'm very uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
I think we just need to challenge her. Maybe Starbolt and 2 and I could, challenge her together. That would be interesting for her to fight 2 Starbolts.
Max does have a personal promotional tool you could maybe use for that.
Yes.
Yep.
One thing I have to say, if we do that publicly, there is a very good chance that some of Ecstatics fans will go to the docks to watch this, which is a bit counterproductive to the entire get civilians away from the area.
Yeah, I think
thing.
we need crowd control in some way.
On the other hand, it is counterproductive to the keep people safe element. It is productive to the getting the ecstatic brand out and having an audience to give you buffs
True.
element.
That's true.
Just live stream the fight. Chat wants me to say, you suck.
Wait, can we just record it and edit it so we can, like, edit out our failures?
We reached the $200 goal. That means I get to tell Black Hole to go fuck herself. All right. Hey, Black Hole, go fuck yourself.
So the plan right now is to get Starbolt 2 up and fueled so that he and Charlotte can try out the vibracelets. And
Yep.
Yes.
Max and I will try to formulate a more concrete plan on how to challenge her via, like, ecstatics platform.
Yes.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
And just as you're formulating that plan, the door to the meeting room opens, and Starbolt 2 walks in, like looking around a little. Hey, you have a meeting?
You're right on time.
Oh, cool. So I'm not left out of this one. All right.
Nope, we were just about to get you. Promise.
Okay, perfect. So what's the plan? What are you helping me do?
Well, Max will tell you. Since she's the leader.
I think I will just basically tell him all we have talked about, but will emphasize his role in everything and that he will also be there in public and featured in the fight and in the challenge.
All right. Yeah, I mean, he's not like, he's just happy that your plan doesn't involve him like standing outside and he doesn't have to like fight for being a participant in his own mission based on like previous interactions. And he's like, okay, so if I get this right, I vibe with Charlie here for a little bit and then we fight. We make a video and we fight.
Basically,
Yes.
All right.
it's a bit more
Alright.
complicated than just making a video, but yes.
Well, you're the celebrity superhero person, right? So you get to prepare and write that out and all of that, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Then I guess Charlie, you're with me.
I guess so.
And yeah, he would take Charlotte to give us some lessons in vibration.
Please stay away
Which-
from my equipment.
I don't even know. That would probably not need a roll. You just get some time to figure it out. Basically, like, I assume that Moon sort of built these gauntlets to, like, is it something she has to adjust herself, or does it have, like, something on it that lets you control the frequency of vibration and all of that?
I would say it lets you control because we don't know which exact frequency she's using and if she might change it during the fight. If she might become...
Okay, so you can adjust it, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially, what Starbolt 2 shows you is basically him going through a range of vibrations. Some of them actually looking quite similar to what you saw on the footage, where like it seems like he's moving very fast, then it seems like he's just basically like very slightly vibrating, and ultimately you can't see him vibrate at all because he kind of works in synergy with the human eye, which is the same vibration that Black Hole must probably be at.
Yeah.
And based on that, he like guides you through. And yeah, I would say while you do that, Max gets to plan out how to draw out Black Hole. Do you have any ideas for that, maybe?
I think that we should probably have both of the Starbolts in a video and maybe not get too aggressive with it, like the whole "you're a coward if you don't show up" and "you suck" or "you're an asshole" or whatever. I think it would probably be a framing of, we know you were the one who robbed this bank, and in basically the spirit of fairness, we challenge you to a fight a fight in the name of Starbolt. So basically, you're back to this whole Starbolt versus Black Hole thing. I think that would work probably best on her.
I'm gonna say it is the two Starbolts who are recording it, but since Max is planning all of it, I'd say you get to try to provoke someone through that video that you're doing.
That's an 8.
Okay, that is a mixed success. That means that they don't do exactly what you want, but you do gain some sort of advantage in this situation. So either they stumble and you take a +1 forward against them, they err and you gain some sort of critical opportunity, or they overreact and you gain influence over them. You'll find out at the docks then which
guys,
ones of these
how
actually
about
happens.
noon at the docks?
I mean, I'd assume that you probably need like a bit of time to prepare this day, so noon might be a bit early
But
if you wanna like train
But
your
the
train your fighting and all that.
fine, 3 o'clock then.
It's high 3 p.m.
I would suggest getting there early and finding a like abandoned pier or something that speaks
Yeah,
to
I'd
us.
assume that you'd probably like record the video at the docks to as well to like make the challenge, because like just to show, hey, it's at the docks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say there's probably like your headquarters itself is a building on the docks. So if you walk out like a little bit more on into the industrial area, you see that there's some docks that are still in use where there's ships and all of that, but there's also some abandoned buildings with like broken windows and that have equipment still standing around that's rusted to complete uselessness. And you do find relatively large areas like that between like multiple buildings that would make for a good fighting grounds. So, where do you position yourself at the docks? Are you like on land? Do you go out a little bit onto like do you stay on the dry docks, or do you go out onto the wet docks?
I think on the dry docks, where we're like super visible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you stand out there, you recorded your message of aggression. A cold breeze comes towards you from the ocean, which is not that far away. You're in the open bay right now.
Beautiful.
And yeah, it's very nice. It's also like nice weather, very summery. And yeah, you kind of just stand there in a situation that you haven't had, that you've only experienced sort of on the other end. You've always been the ones arriving to the fight, basically.
Yeah.
You've never really waited for someone to show up in that way. I mean, you've waited for people to show up, and the people usually didn't show up. But you've never challenged someone and waited for them in this regard. And yeah, time passes a little.
So just a quick thing. Moon would suggest that they leave the fighting mostly to the Starbolts, and if they can, that Moon and Max try to distract or confine, just help, but not actually attack, because we can't actually hurt Black Hole, but shoot some electricity where she wants to run away to, or scream at her mentally.
Yeah, like who knows? Like fists probably wouldn't work, but maybe electricity does.
Yeah.
Maybe mind powers do. Who
Telepathic
knows?
bands probably won't.
I think that makes sense, and Max agrees, although you can tell she is a bit miffed at being on the sidelines for this one.
Oh,
You can coordinate.
Actually, I'm not sure if Moon's powers would work on Black Hole. Depends on whether she's like physically mostly human or not. Like if she's like just a vibration person, then her physiology might be so different that Moon's like mind stuff just doesn't affect her at all. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That's going to be something fun to figure out based on how well you roll. You wait a little bit, and it is slightly awkward because she doesn't show up on time at the very least.
Jules, is there
Yes.
a crane somewhere? A functional crane
Yeah.
in the vicinity.
Sure.
Moon will get
Sure, yeah.
get in the crane with the idea that okay, last fight I drove a truck, so maybe a crane could help.
Okay, yeah, sure. Why not? You do that. You climb onto rusty, out of work industrial equipment.
Maybe I can get it working again.
Yeah, you can try that. But before you really get to that, you, without much fanfare, out of one of the dry docks, rises, as if climbing upstairs, like the first time that Charlotte met her, Black Hole, and walks towards you slowly, her hands in her pockets, looking the same way you've seen her before. Her full body, except for her face, covered in clothing, but with a black swirling mass for a face. And she raises her arms above her head as she comes towards you and says, "Well, who am I to turn down a challenge?"
So you finally decided to show up.
Well, your message was a little bit sudden. I'm sorry, I can't just drop anything to walk over here and have a little sparring match with some teenagers.
I'm not a teenager.
I'm not a teenager.
Well, be that as it may. What's the plan? You figured out a way to do what no one's done before, to do as Starbolt did, to knock me out with a two-fisted punch?
Are you ready to find out?
You can't see her face, but her voice sounds as if she's smiling as she says, "Oh, I was born ready." I will say, I will count the situation as basically they stumble, in that she did arrive pretty unprepared for the situation. Basically, this time she is the one that arrived unprepared and off balance.
Hey.
And
Yay.
Max gets to take a +1 against them based on that. And yeah, Charlotte, if you want to, you can roll your own provoke someone.
Yes, I would do that.
All right, do that.
Oh, Jesus.
What's your superior like, huh?
Oh, wait.
Your superior is a
no.
0.
It's a 6.
You
All
could
right,
argue
nice.
that like the entire plan that we made was
Oh
helping.
no, wait! I have a +1 against black holes, so it's a 7.
That's true.
Yes.
You do have a +1 against Black Hole. So it's a 7. I would say her aggressive comeback, "Oh, I was born ready," does mean that they overreact and you gain influence over them.
Okay.
And she does seem to have decided on you being the person she's fighting here.
Okay.
As she suddenly starts into a sprint and makes her way towards you.
Remember, if you have influence over someone, you have a +1 to all moves targeting them.
Yes, that's my question, because I already have a +1. Would it be a +2 then?
I think from what I remember, a +1 forward means you get a +1 to a roll that you do against them.
Okay, just one
Which
roll.
would have been this roll. Which would have been
Okay.
this roll, but now that you have influence, you have further +1. So it basically just you get to keep your +1.
Okay.
So yeah, the situation is the following. She runs towards you. And even though you did the last move, this is still on you. You're the first person who can act here, Charlotte.
Okay, I will, when she runs towards me, I'm guessing she wants to attack me somehow.
It does seem like that.
Yeah, so I will quickly step out of the way when she runs towards me and punch her in the back of the neck, because she
Okay.
runs past me then.
Okay, that is a directly engager threat. Roll plus danger. Or you can do your fight the good fight move if you take it easy on her, basically.
Wait, Sylvia.
But here, impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition might actually be very important.
That's true.
Yeah, I would take the fight the good fight move, which gives me a +2.
Okay, but that means that you, basically try to go somewhat easy on her.
Yes,
in
yes.
this attack. All right, do that.
Okay, and I also have a +1, so +3,
Yes. Yes.
8.
All right.
I would actually create an opportunity for my allies for
makes sense,
Starbolt
yeah.
2.
Okay. Yeah. I will say, how do you want to create an opportunity for your allies?
Well, by punching her in the back, I would say she would stumble or something like that, and maybe falls down. So Starbolt 2 would have like a good opportunity to
continue on from that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say that you hit her in the back of her head with your newly vibrating bracelets, and you do feel for the first time with these bracelets. Like you tried that out with Starbolt 2, but he was a lot more gentle. When you hit Black Hole with this, you do really feel like you're hitting her.
Yeah.
But something's a little bit off. And you do notice it when you hit her in the back. You also see it on her. She starts shifting. She starts vibrating. It's like you've sort of thrown her out of whack, out of vibration with how she usually is.
Okay.
And your hand ultimately passes through her, but she does stumble forwards and looks around at you like somewhat crazed, like she actually didn't expect you to have something that would allow you to touch her. And she shouts out, "Ah!"
Surprise.
And not as surprised as you're gonna be. Basically, like, you create the opportunity for Starbolt to, you try to tear her down and it didn't quite work, but she's really distracted now, which still creates an opportunity for Starbolt 2.
Okay.
As she comes back at you and does manage to land a strike against you in an unprotected point. And you feel for the first time now, she can clearly somewhat shift her vibrations to a point where it does hurt, where you do feel it when she strikes back. So you get to mark a condition.
Starbolt 2, Black Hole strikes back.
Okay, then I would take Okay, guilty doesn't make any sense, so it would be afraid or hopeless.
Angry and insecure you already have marked down?
Yes.
Then I think maybe, if anything, afraid, because you notice that like she has a lot more control over this than you might have originally thought.
Yes.
And she does seemingly like from what it looks like after you hit her, she did actively change her frequency. So you'll have to adjust if you want to keep hitting her. Basically.
Okay. Yeah, then I will take afraid.
Okay, that makes sense. But you did create an opportunity for Starbolt 2, and I'll ask the other two, because Starbolt 2 isn't really a player character. How does Starbolt 2 basically set up a move for one of you?
I have an idea, but that would mostly be about with Max. I would say that maybe one of the ideas that we had was that we're trying to find out if electricity can affect Black Hole, and that maybe you had a like hiding spot where there would be a great place to ambush Black Hole with a lightning strike, and that Starbolt 2 would maneuver her there, so you can try to shoot lightning without hitting like any of the others.
Yeah, I think that might make sense to see if I can also be a player in this little fight.
Because he would rather find that out sooner than later. And preferably, if it doesn't affect her, then it doesn't hit any of them, so ambush punish.
Yeah, I think it might make sense to sort of try to ambush her with electricity and see if it works.
Yeah. Yeah, that does work. Starbolt 2 basically, like, according to the plans you made in advance, does manage to bring his vibrations in the new frequency with Black Hole and essentially, like, pulls her away from Charlotte and drags her across the pier, which she tries to escape by shifting her vibrations again, but he's pretty good at matching up to that, at getting like a feel for what her vibrations are. He's very much more suited to fighting Black Hole currently than Charlotte is, from what it looks like. And he does manage to throw her down in the area that you basically picked out for that.
Max, zap her!
Time to play Pikachu, I guess.
Max, zap her. Moon, who's the leader of this team? Unless you use like a very specific move that you have for that, it's just to directly engage a threat.
Yeah, no, it's not really anything specific, and since my superior is also not better right now, do we have an audience there?
You did do this publicly, so I'd say that some people did show up, especially people from Riverside, who are kind of like standing at the sidelines, basically standing like a bit away from the docks. There's like fences around that you basically like passed over to get here, and that usually you're not supposed to enter this area. And there's people behind the fences watching that watched your stream.
And probably filming it.
All right. Yeah, then in that case, I think I am gonna do my stage fighting thing, which means I can directly engage a threat and mark a condition to roll superior instead of danger.
Okay, then do that. Which condition do you mark?
I guess in this case, afraid would probably make the most sense then, because this is the biggest villain we've fought so far.
Mhm.
And I think that seeing what Black Hole could do now with her own eyes, that Max is sort of feeling a bit outmatched here and is very much not holding back, unlike Charlotte.
And for the audience, this is very much a underdog story then. They see, oh, you're afraid, but you still fight through.
Yes, I mean, one of my audience things I have is that they think I'm just like them.
Yeah, exactly. For real, she just like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the underdog.
All right, then directly engage that threat with the -2 you just gave yourself.
Yes, I also have a +1 forward because I am the leader.
Yeah, at this point, it's definitely a fight, so let's really quick like go through the team mechanics stuff. The leader has influence over every teammate? No. If everyone has the same purpose in the fight, add another team. Seems like it,
yeah.
right?
I feel like we want to catch Black Hole.
Yeah. If any team member mistrusts the leader or the team, remove a team?
No.
No.
No. Okay. And if your team is ill-prepared or off-balance, you're so prepared.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely not ill-prepared and off-balance. So you do not remove a team. So ultimately, you get to add the full 3 team. Two team.
Because of my move captain, we also get another team to the pool, and I carry +1 forward.
Okay, nice. So you have four team in the pool. The one normal team in the pool, the one you give, and 2 more from the team mechanics.
Yes. So let's see. I rolled a 6. -2 because of my condition.
Yeah.
Then the +1 I have because of my superior, we're at 5. +1 I get because of my provocation earlier.
So you're again at 6.
And then +1 because I am the team leader.
Okay, so you're at 7.
Yes.
You get to, on a 7 to 9, pick one. Resist or avoid blows, the same thing we did with Charlotte before.
But now I would say impress, frighten, impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition would be very interesting.
Yeah, I think like surprise the opposition probably makes a lot of sense in this situation, because Black Hole probably thought she was going up against the Starbolts, and suddenly there's also someone else in the mix.
I mean, you did post the video.
That's true, but I don't think she really saw me as a threat.
Yeah, that makes sense. She is definitely surprised. You hit her with that lightning, and you see, like, it's strange, because it does pass through her, but it does also clearly affect her. You see her, like, shivering under the strain of the lightning. But you do notice that she once again adjusts herself and somehow manages to find a frequency where the lightning doesn't affect her anymore. So she does seem to have, like, different settings that allow her to pass through different things.
But the question is, if she can adjust to one thing, can she adjust to everything? If you, like, hit her with lightning, punch her, and scream at her mentally, maybe she can't adjust fast enough to deal with all of them.
She seems to be dumbstruck by this attack. She turns her head up at Max, who's still, like, shooting lightning at her, and basically leaps straight at Max. Max gets to mark a condition based on that response.
Yeah.
That might be insecure. Like, you hit her with, like, lightning, and she just keeps coming. And she won't stop coming.
I think insecure makes a lot of sense here, because usually Max holds back a lot with the opponents, but this one was a pretty heavy attack, but it was shaken off easily. So yeah, I think insecure makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you do get the feeling that you definitely did hurt her, and she does seem to be like somewhat shocked, surprised, or maybe even afraid based on that attack from you, but has seemed to go for the fight instead of the flight response on this one.
Yeah.
Knock out the issue. But if someone else of you wants to interact with the situation at this point, you can.
This will sound a bit cowardly, but I have the afraid condition, so I can just argue that. The idea that I just had with the all at once thing, I'm not sure Moon would think of that without analyzing the situation. So I think Moon, since they know that they are the least likely to actually affect Black Hole, would have gotten on the crane to get a good view and try to basically set up not to attack, but to get as much information as they can to maybe help the others with a strategy, like when it's actually in the fight. So
okay, so you want to assess the situation, basically. Yeah.
Woo! That's a 10!
You get to ask too.
I'm going to ask, how could we best end this quickly? With the idea that maybe like attacking with different kinds of attack, that might be an idea, because I think Moon would have to have this observation to find that out, and I think that might be something. And what here can I use to hurt Black Hole? Like, what here could I use to attack her, since like telepathic bands won't do it?
Okay. I'd say, how can we best end this quickly? You're doing pretty well so far. You get the feeling that, like, at least from what you've seen, you did manage to land a few hits on her, a few shocking hits, a few hits that she's had to adjust to. But yeah, that's what you were thinking about, is definitely the vibe you've been getting. That if you go at her with multiple things at once, it's going to be a lot harder for her to readjust herself in that way. And what here can I use to hurt her? Basically, like, you get the idea that if this one mode of vibration, that means that it's very hard to touch her, gets turned off when she tries other things, you think that she probably doesn't, like, your telepathic bands might work if she's in the wrong frequency, essentially.
Oh.
Like, you get the feeling that maybe she can be hit when she's trying to avoid lightning, maybe she can be whatever. You definitely know from what you've seen before that, like, her base mode is very good at, like, passing through things. But she has to adjust it to different things. So if you can get her out of her not be able to be touched zone, you probably can actually hurt her.
And I think Moon would just shoot a thought that contains this realization to, like, the team and jump down from the crane and come running in to help.
Yes, but since this sort of situation kind of like wasted a little bit of time, Max gets to take a powerful blow.
Yep. Oh boy.
Oh no.
A 9 plus 3, yes. Yes, that's it.
Okay, so a 10 plus. On a 10 plus, choose one. You must remove yourself from the situation, flee, pass out, etc. You lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way, or 2 options from the 7 to 9 list.
I need to think about this for a second.
Yeah, sure.
Lose control of your powers would be very interesting. That would be such good drama.
But that would be really bad for us.
Yes, but imagine like having shot her with lightning and having the afraid condition, and she comes at you and your reaction is just like more lightning. Except this time it goes everywhere. That's a very Nova move.
I think I might actually choose the you lose control of your powers in a terrible way.
Yes.
But it's not lightning, it's the electromagnetism that is messing with all the metal maybe in the surroundings. And in this effort to protect herself, Max is pulling all this metal towards her.
There's a logic to that. That makes sense.
Also our bracelets?
All the metal in the surroundings.
That's cool. Okay.
That's unfortunate.
So, okay. I'm gonna describe what's happening.
Okay.
Black Hole jumps at Max, and her hands reach right through Max's chest, and Max can like feel them in there, can feel them changing frequency, can feel them trying to actually reach her heart.
Oh!
No.
And Max's body, and maybe Max on some subconscious level herself, has like, okay, absolute nightmare. I have to stop this in some way. Shock reaction. And her powers flare up. And I can imagine this like... I have this very anime image of this scene. Where there's like this short moment of like small lightning flying out from her in all directions. And then second of silence, and suddenly all the metal on the docks is pulled towards her.
Yeah.
To like somewhat protect her in this flash of energy. Like this moment where for a second we have no sound at all, and suddenly the creaking of all of this metal. And it flies towards Max. Charlotte is pulled towards Max. The crane that Moon is placed at is also pulled towards Max with like force that she's never shown before. And a lot of small, sharpened, rusted bits fly towards Max. And both Max and Black Hole are essentially buried under this mountain of metal. I would almost let you roll take a powerful blow a second time for that. But I'm gonna say for this situation, it's more of a Max gets to act again when the rest of the group have done something.
Mm-hmm.
So you're both being pulled towards this mountain of metal that's forming around Max right now. How do you respond?
I would say I let myself be pulled and try to adjust the bracelet to have a frequency that I can go through the metal so I can get to Black Hole and Max.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna count this as an unleash your powers roll, because you do have a temporary superpower in this vibration thing.
Okay.
And do you have hopeless currently?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you don't get that -2.
Yeah, but I also only got a 5. Is there anything I
Okay.
can add? No, wait.
You are going up against Black Hole, and you do have a +1 towards her because of the influence thing.
Okay, does that count? Because then I would have a... Oh, well, then I would
You
have a
can-
6.
You could use a team. Like,
Oh, right.
Yeah, but I would say that this is a situation where you can't really help each other. I think this is a situation where you can't really use team.
Yeah.
You're both kind of on your own here in your own bad situations.
Yeah, so...
Oh, okay. No. I have an idea. Okay. You, someone who doesn't have metal on them because they haven't fought with Max before is Starball 2. So you can add a team to the pool if you let Starball 2 help you.
Well, then I would say I let him be in the team because we're that desperate right now.
Okay. So how do you basically do that? You are gonna have to somewhat get his attention or call for him.
I would just like scream at him, Dean, help me to. I mean, he's also super fast, so we can just communicate in like that area. Help me to adjust the bracelet. We need to get to Max.
He runs over immediately, and while you are being pulled towards it, you two like have this small little interaction at super speed, where he does manage to get there. And while your arms are kind of like, it's kind of like they're kind of being pulled together as well by the magnetism that's built up here. So you probably can't touch them all that well. You probably can't reach them all that well. And he, with his vibration-based powers, does help adjust them and does have a feeling for what vibration they probably need to be if you want to help in this situation. So if I understand your plan right, you want to adjust them to the right thing to still let you attack Black Hole inside of that mountain.
Yes.
Okay.
I basically want to like pull her back from Max.
Okay, so I will say that the effect is unstable or temporary because you have a mixed success, or you get to mark a condition.
I would say it's unstable or temporary.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you do reach through it, both of you, as the mountain forms. Do you also want to try to get away rather quickly? Because Max doesn't seem to be done. Like, the metal is still flying, and you might also be lost in the stack of metal.
No, actually, right now, I just want to get inside, pull
Okay.
Black Hole back to not hurt Max. Because, like, she was inside her heart, so...
Yeah. The two of you do get pulled in, and you do manage to find the right frequency with the help of Starball 2 to pull her hands out of Max, basically. So you did save her from that situation. She turns around to you, and she does notice that it is you, but in the chaos, she can't find the right words to quip back at you for this situation. So instead, she just gives you like a finger gun real quick with her now removed hand. And you feel her frequency changing once more as she just passes through the floor before the rest of you get boxed in inside the metal. Moon, you also are pulled in. Slower than Charlotte, because you are in a crane that takes a bit more to be pulled out of the ground.
Mm-hmm. I want to mentally shake Max out of it. What I'm thinking is like directing Moon is directing all of their like focus on Max and feeling this like swirl of panic and shock and hurt and stuff, and just basically slapping her and going, "Pull yourself together, Max."
Okay, I would call that an unleash your powers.
Okay. 6, 7, 8, since I'm targeting Max. And I have influence. Yay. It's an 8.
Nice. So you also have a mixed success. You get to mark a condition, or the GM will tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary.
I think I'll take the condition, because I think the guilty condition fits very well here. Moon can sense how furious Max's emotions are, and how she's so afraid and losing control and everything, and they're not really helping by basically slapping Max into snapping out of it. Definitely qualifies as giving Moon the guilty condition.
Okay, so I will say you do mark the guilty condition, and this should also have some sort of effect on Max. I think the easiest way to resolve this is just Max also takes a condition from this, because you just basically mental assaulted her.
Makes sense.
Like, it's not strong enough for a powerful blow, but yeah, I'd say you just mark a condition from that.
Yeah, I think I'm also gonna take guilty.
Yeah, that makes sense. You basically snap back into it, snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity, and literally, oh, there goes gravity, because now that your magnetic powers are like ebbing down, you're the three of you still in there. Basically, you and the two star bolts are being weighed down by a good big pile of metal. It's not as big as it could have been if like the really big equipment was pulled in and wasn't just like slightly wrecked.
Congratulations,
by your magnetic
you didn't
pulse.
cause a crane to crash over you.
Yeah, thankfully you were stopped before that, but you're still like in a mountain of sheet metal, of like grating, of fencing, of
nails and
rolly
screws and broken equipment.
It's not nice. The folks of you in there, what do you do?
I feel like Max wouldn't immediately use her powers again. That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, this would be, for example, if Charlotte wants to do that, because Max would need to be provoked into action in this situation. Provoke Max into action if you want to in this situation.
I would actually like to do that.
Okay, that is a plus superior.
Oh, I just thought of something really mean to say.
Okay, superior.
Aren't you supposed to be the leader?
Basically.
I have a 7, and I say to her, Max, come on, you're a superhero. You have an audience, come on. Do the thing you're good at.
You can also talk, in this stressful situation. Like exchange all of the issues that have stacked up between the two of you. This is like a high pressure situation for something like that to happen. Just saying.
I'm not sure Max is capable of like conversation right now. I think it's very much still this shock status that's going on.
You just had a near-death experience. Just get over it.
I think maybe instead of just pushing all of it back, creating an opening for us to get out of. So like really subtle use of superpowers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm thinking right now if this is a directly engager threat.
I was thinking unleash your powers, because reshaping your environment is specifically...
True, reshaping your environment is an unleash your powers thing. I'm thinking directly engage a threat kind of because like... because of the danger of the situation, like if you fuck up, you do get hurt.
Yeah.
And it is a threat. And take something from them could be like opening a path through it. Creating an opportunity for your allies could mean making it so that the 2 starbolts can get out somewhat. I think directly engage a threat works pretty well for this situation. With what the results of it can be.
Unfortunately, you do not get a +1 because you don't have influence over the big
Over
pile
the
of
mountain
spiky
of the
metal.
mountain of metal, yeah. I mean, you do have influence over it because you have magnetism powers. But I don't know.
Created this big pile of metal.
You are its
You know
mom.
what? I'll say you have influence over this mountain of metal. I'll give you that.
I am its mother.
Its creator, at least.
I will allow you influence.
I have very bad news. I have extremely bad news.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
I have a 3.
Uh-huh. Do you have a condition that worsens your directly engaged threat? Yes.
I do.
You get 2 +1s. That brings you back to 3. No, wait. Your danger is really bad, right?
-1, yes.
Okay, so you're at like fucking 0 or something?
-1.
You're at 1 maybe at best case? Okay, cool.
That's a very critical fail.
So okay, no, this makes the situation better. So Charlotte is basically telling Max, "Hey, pull it together. You can do it. You're a hero." And Max tries and it goes bad. That drives the situation further. That's good. I'm gonna say that because Max is the one kind of holding it up, sort of like tries to get it out, tries to pull something away, and that just leads to some of the metal that isn't supported anymore collapsing
Oh, shit.
right onto Max, which would mean taking another powerful blow.
Question: Can I
Super speed. pull
hold
out of
Max and make her vibrate so she doesn't get hit by the metal but phases through it?
You can try to do that,
Okay.
I'd say.
it. Defend.
That would be defend.
Okay, defend. I definitely have the insecure condition, so it's already -1.
And
-2.
since you don't, do you have influence over Max still?
I think you do, but Max doesn't over you.
Yes.
So
So,
you do
okay,
get a
it's a -1
It's a plus savior,
plus savior.
which is
okay.
I think your best stat. So
It's an 8.
Hey!
nice. Okay, just from the roll, or
No, the roll is 7,
+2 from savior.
8, 9, and then
And,
+1 from the influence. What did I do in my brain?
That would be a 10. Do you have a condition that makes this worse?
Yeah.
Do you have insecure?
Oh, right, yeah, I have the defensive one, which is -2.
Insecure.
Okay.
Right.
So, yeah, that brings you to an 8 then.
Yes,
But
yes.
that is still a partial success.
Yeah, okay. So I would probably expose myself to danger.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you get to take the powerful blow.
Okay.
You basically like shift Max out of the way, but since basically only your arms are vibrating, that means that you're in the path of the metal now.
Okay. So I get to roll to take a powerful blow.
Exactly. So 2d6 plus 3.
5 plus 3 is 8.
Hey!
That is another 7 to 9, so you get to choose one. You lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. You give ground, your opposition gets an opportunity, or you struggle past the pain mark 2 conditions.
Make me do a foolhardy action, please.
Oh, Jesus. I can't take 2 conditions because then I'm out.
Yeah. Come on, this is the time for the "aren't you supposed to be the leader" moment.
Okay.
Do it!
No, I can't. Oh my god.
This is such a good character moment. Come on.
Do it, Sunny.
Give the audience what they want.
Okay. Come on, Max. Aren't you supposed to be the leader? Am I having to do all the work here?
Okay, Max, you're being provoked into foolhardy action. I would say, Charlotte, if you have the angry condition, you can clear it by shouting at Max like this.
Okay, so I can clear the angry.
Yeah, because
Condition.
you hurt someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is the thing that I didn't want to do earlier, in that I will just use my powers to get the metal away from us in all directions. Like, I don't care who's around right now. I'm just going to get out of here.
Okay, this I will call an unleash your powers. Because I am nothing if not inconsistent. Go for it. Let the leash go.
That's double 6s, baby.
Woo!
Max hears Charlotte's words, and the nice words weren't enough to get through, but the harsh words did the job.
I'm so sorry.
And Max gathers all the strength inside of her, all the strength inside of her powers that pulled all this metal beyond what she could ever do before towards her, and shoves it away in all directions. A hailstorm of pointy bits and rust flies across the docks to the somewhat fear but mostly delight of the audience outside the bent fencing, and rains down, and because 2 6s, somehow manages not to get anyone hurt.
That's great.
At least something.
Also, right now we're just kind of fighting with each other in black hole.
Yeah,
Our
black
inner
hole,
demons.
like
Black
Black
hole's
hole
just
did
gone.
the peace sign fading out thing earlier.
Yeah.
I would like to extend my senses to see if I can sense Black Hole anywhere. Like to see if the fight is over or if she's just waiting to ambush us again.
Okay, yeah, do that. You get to, roll and unleash your powers.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to know, is she there or not? I think that's just a can I sense her or not?
That's an unleash your powers, yeah.
Okay. I don't have anything that interferes with that. Except my rolling. That's a 7, that's an 8.
That's not that bad. An 8. Okay, so you get to either mark a condition or the GM will tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary.
I think unstable or temporary would be interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'll judge it in this way that you do find her, but you find her rather late.
Okay.
You basically feel around. You get the feeling that you saw before. Yeah, you didn't actually see it. The others saw
Speaking
it before,
of,
but you
what
probably
does-
see it in their minds.
What does Black Hole actually feel like to Moon's senses? Like, can they sense Black Hole at all? Like,
Yeah, I'm going to
mind?
say that this is where the problem comes in and the temporarily and unstableness of it, because you do get a feeling for her, like you've had an impression from her before, but it's like watching a movie on a film strip where most of the images are missing. You basically just get like flashing impressions of like micro emotions, of like very tiny images, but they vanish as fast as they appear.
so
It's
I
like-
imagine
yeah.
it's similar to like when Charlotte or Starbolt 2 are in super speed, just like I just
Yeah.
get glimpses of anything, if at all.
Yeah, it's actually pretty similar to that. And that way you notice, like, somewhere under you, you see a short image from her eyes, but you can't really place it. It just looks like darkness. And it takes a little bit for you to place her. And it's a little bit away, like at the beginning of the wet pier. But at the time that you actually locate her there, it is pretty late, because at that point she is already rising out of the pier again.
I would like to shout at Black Hole.
Okay, just something real quick that you notice. She's not wet.
I mean, water phases through her probably,
Yeah.
which is kind of
something
sad for
interesting.
the electricity conductivity aspect of things.
Yeah, but also raises questions like, hey, how does she move underwater then?
Yeah, I'm not even sure if she can hear, if she can like sense my thoughts that I'm sending, but I want to shout at her, "Don't you have enough by now? See, we got you real good." No, that's not what I wanted to say. I just, my brain didn't want to.
You've been a big,
We're all
big
just very
meanie to
uncool
us.
today.
You've been so not nice. You mean meanie pants.
Don't you have enough by now? You can see that we can hit you. You can see that you can get hurt. Do you really want to push this or just come quietly?
Yeah, I mean that is a provoke someone. So
I do have a -2 on that. By now. Thanks to me shouting at
the question: what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? That is important for this.
to surrender. To stop
Okay.
fighting and admit that we can beat her.
Okay,
And I just got a 6 and a 5. -2.
plus your superior.
+1, that's a 10! Yeah!
Nice. Okay, here's the situation as it plays out before you. Like, except for Moon, who's still pretty spry, the rest was just basically collapsed under a bunch of metal and looks real bad.
Yeah, but
Max got back up and
but
pushed
this
stuff
entire
away.
display of power could be very, I mean,
Intimidating.
yeah.
I want to play, I just want you to picture the situation right. The situation is there's 3 of you who look kind of wrecked right now. Even Max, who got up, is probably breathing heavily from this display of power. Moon stands a bit away and like shouts at Black Hole. And Black Hole looks like unfazed. Black Hole looks like she basically didn't take any damage. She stands straight up. There's no damage visible on her clothing or anything like that. The metal didn't hit her at all. She ducked out of the way before anything happened there. And she just came out of the docks and walks towards the group of 3 as Moon shouts at her from like a little bit further away that, didn't you see that you were destroyed already? And it seems at first like she completely ignores Moon.
Maybe she can't
she
just can't hear me.
Maybe, as she just keeps walking towards the 3 of them. Starbolt 2 lies like a little bit further ahead because he wasn't in the phasing pile with Starbolt 1 and Max, and she basically comes to a halt in front of Starbolt 2, who's only now like shaking his head, getting up, looking up at her. She gets down in like a squat position, and then she puts her hands in front of her together and says, "Well, I suppose you're right. What's the girl gotta do? Gotta give up. I lost this one."
She's having something planned.
Yeah, like Starbolt 2 is also looks very confused and like says, I mean, if she wants to surrender, and she says, "Yeah, well, I guess after this display of power and after seeing how much you can do if you work together with your impeccable teamwork over there, I
She's
have
just
no
making fun of
choice."
us at this point.
Hey,
I
this
have
could
no
have been part of
choice.
the plan. She doesn't know what our plan. Our plan could have been trying to trap her into a metal prison because we still think that like dense materials she can't phase through. She doesn't know this was not our plan.
Oh, she knows.
I don't think that any of your handcuffs can really keep me, but I'm willing to go, seeing how distraught I was by the man the SOS sent, this true new Starbolt over here. So,
Oh, come on.
I guess I'm going with you then. And she tries to hurt Charlotte with that.
Well, Max would say Starbolts knock her out.
So at what Black Hole said, I just scoff. And at what Max says, I just walk over to Starbolt 2 and Black Hole, and I look at him, and
He
I
looks
nod,
back.
and hopefully that he understands that we're just gonna, like, punch her out together.
Yeah. I'd say we see how well you coordinate based on how you do the move. I'd call that directly engage a threat.
Okay. So I have the afraid condition, which gives me -2. Danger is a 0, so
You do have a +1 against Black Hole.
I do have a +1, yes.
Yeah.
Do I have the +1?
What? Yeah, you do have the +1. You still have influence over her. So.
Okay, then I have a 7.
Yeah, okay. On a 7 to 9, resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
I don't know, take something from them. Their freedom.
Their
I'd say either
consciousness.
that, but I also think that impressing might be fun. For
Okay.
like the context of the,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
of
okay.
what this whole situation
Black
is.
Hole is impressed by my punches.
Okay, yeah. So basically you impress her by playing up to what you did this fight, I think. Because it would be, my idea is you both punch her at different frequencies to be sure.
Yeah.
So she can't really phase out of the way. Something the original Starbolt couldn't have done because he couldn't do multiple frequencies at once. And you do hit her and basically knock her back, and she seems to be pretty drowsy as she lies down there on the dry docks where she just walked over to you, and she's like, "Oh, it's so good to have you back." And she passes out.
Kinda cool, kinda creepy.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you hear a roaring in the distance.
Is it a monster roar or more of a Transistor's jet bike roar?
It is, at least to some degree, a Transistor's jet bike roar.
I
But
guess
it's not
I-
just that.
Knight Rider ride roar.
I
You
pictured
see-
immediately Godzilla.
You see, you see two superhero vehicles pull up. One coming from the sky, which is Transistor's bike that you've seen before, and one that you've also absolutely seen before because it belongs to one of the greatest heroes currently alive, Knight Rider, which is basically like a tricked out, very long motorcycle that has like Batman gadgets all over it, who basically makes like a dramatic daredevil jump over the fencing around the area, also causing like the audience to cheer.
Drama.
Whoop, whoop, Knight Rider.
And
so
comes
extra.
down with a heavy thunk right next to you as he jumps off of the bike. And you can see that in the passenger seat of Knight Rider's jet bike, there's also someone else, someone you haven't met before. A pretty tall man in a silver superhero costume with a silver visor in front of his eyes, who apparently came here with Transistor. And they all get out, and Knight Rider like pretty briskly walks up to you and says, "Challenging black hole. Okay."
That was gutsy AF. That was stupid AF. Both true.
I think we were successful.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, you did it. He points at the ground. You beat her. He seems to like slowly collect his thoughts, even himself like pretty surprised by the fact that you actually managed to knock her out, before heading pretty quickly to Starbolt 2 and giving him like a little slap on the shoulder and saying, "You're right with Transistor. We're gonna finalize, this whole thing. You're in. You did it. You did the mission that we gave you.
You're
We're just gonna have to
welcome.
talk about the name thing, but we'll do that when we're back at base." And Starbolt 2 like slowly nods and looks around at the rest of you, like almost looking for approval.
I shake
Before leaving.
my head.
His eyes go a bit wide, but ultimately he gets up and goes over to the bike. And he does like a shrugging motion in your direction, not really knowing how else to respond to this situation.
What can I get, like, vibe from him?
He's on full adrenaline mode right now.
And probably conflicted and
Yeah.
unsure and
About the whole thing, but he does move to the bike with Transistor, who also briefly got out together with the guy in the silver costume. The two of them walking also over to the group of you.
I would like to shoot a quick thought at Starbolt 2.
Mm-hmm.
You said you needed help. We helped. Just remember that.
He shoots a thought back at you, basically like, "Yeah, for sure, yeah, thank you. I'll get back at you when this whole situation is over."
You do what you think is right, but if you ever reach the point that we did and you are disappointed with the SOS's conduct, you know where to find us. And if not, this is your dream. Follow it.
And I will say that all of you have influence over him now.
Yay!
Nice. I would also like to announce very loudly so the onlookers can hear. So the next time the SOS needs help, we renegades are obviously willing to help them.
Love it.
Knight Rider like looks at you with a raised eyebrow and says, "Well, we didn't ask for your help. A recruit asked for your help, but I'm not gonna say no to help in a situation where it's required. This doesn't need to be petty."
Oh yes, this needs to be petty. So I go up to him because that's also something that bothers me. And I ask him, "You knew that this was Black Hole. Why did you send him after her on his own?"
What makes you think that I knew that?
It was obvious from the beginning. Don't tell me you didn't see the signs. Even the people in the bank knew it was Black Hole.
He turns his head towards the unconscious black hole on the ground, who you can see, now that she's not fully controlling it, is back to her. Like, her standard form seems to be the one that to you visibly isn't vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
Although she's still, like, you can probably touch her and notice, okay, yeah, same issue is still in place.
Okay.
He looks down at her and says, "I think we both have things to talk about with each other. And questions we want answers for. Maybe we should meet up for that. Not in front of an audience. Have a private conversation.
Okay, I'm open to that.
Transistor, who was like behind him, is like, actually, if you're gonna do that, I'd also have some things that I would like to discuss. And she looks at Max. I feel like we have had like a bit of a communication problem, and I don't want any bad blood between our teams.
I agree with that. And Max also has to think about the, kind of loss of control she had there, and that maybe if anyone can help her with something like that, it would probably be Transistor.
And the guy in the silver costume looks over to Moon. And
Moon
is like,
waves.
Well, you know, if they're all gonna meet up for conversation, why don't we talk? I don't know. I feel like I'm left out here.
Poor guy.
You can sense like that Moon is like still super angry and hyped up on adrenaline, and just shoots him a glare and says, I don't have anything to say to the SOS.
Well, then maybe you do have to me, because I feel we've got a lot in common.
Oh.
That might catch Moon's, like that might prick up their ears.
And you see in his mind an image that does definitely raise your interest, because it's what you see in his mind is a look from the outside at the world of Tilao from space.
Oh.
He like sheepishly raises a finger in front of his lips to like suggest you to keep quiet. But Knight Rider takes the word again and says, all right, you okay with tomorrow? We have to do the paperwork on this shit.
He cursed in front of children. Except Charlotte, because she's
Not a teenager.
Yeah. He was addressing Charlotte.
Okay, you can
this.
curse.
Not the actual team leader. Because, you know, he's not a big fan of there being more Starbolts, but he definitely assumes that the Starbolt would be the team leader.
I mean, officially, unless we changed it, I think Charlotte is still.
I don't think we've officially
then
changed it yet.
she's still on the record as the team leader.
Yeah, and also I don't think he would keep up with our
No.
media.
Our
presence.
teenage bullshit.
Yeah, so he asks Charlotte if tomorrow is okay.
Sure. Where do you want to meet?
We'll come to you, incognito.
Okay. I'll be waiting.
Yeah. He seems to like be fighting a small little battle inside of himself before saying, "Good job." The way I know him, he'd be proud of you. He shakes his head and turns around and quickly walks back to his bike to not have to deal with the consequences of saying that.
I visibly do not react, but inside I'm like, oh my god.
Does this shift your labels?
Yeah, I would say he would try to shift your labels in this situation.
Okay. Even though I'm really angry at Knight Rider, I'm okay with that, because, I mean, it's Knight Rider, and he was Starbolt's sidekick, and he knew him really well, so, yeah.
I would say what this does for you is it would, like, he would be proud of you or whatever like that. I would say for you that would result in your savior going up and your freak going down. Bringing your savior, I think, up to full again. And your freak to 0, I think.
Yes.
Not everyone can be as well balanced as
Talk to us when your danger is not -1.
Yeah, Charlotte is very min-maxed at this point. Like 3 on Savior, 0 on almost everything, and 1 on Mundane. He turns around back to his bike, gets back on it. Transistor also walks back to hers. Starbolt 2 is seated in the passenger seat now. They like tie the unconscious black hole to the back of the bike.
How do they move a unconscious black hole if she just phases through anyone? Oh, probably.
A Starbolt 2 probably helps, I'd say, in this situation. And the guy in the silver costume is like, okay, there's no seat for me anymore. So he just basically jumps at the front of the bike and liquefies.
He what?
And basically he liquefies into a silvery liquid that sticks to the front of the bike.
Ooh.
Oh.
So
And
he is a literal Quicksilver. Like,
yeah, he is made of Quicksilver. We mentioned this guy in the Q&A episode very briefly as a superhero named Mirror Mirror.
oh right.
And that's the first time that he shows up. And the 2 superhero vehicles take off again, leaving the 3 of you in your somewhat hurt and bruised states back at the docks.
I just remembered we now have to get on a bus and go back. Or walk.
No, we can walk.
You can walk. It's
We
like
can
pretty
walk,
close
it's
to
not
your
that
home.
far.
It's a
Yeah.
parade. Like all the onlookers are just a parade for us. How much do we want to bet that Max is getting asked for autographs?
I mean, now that Knight Rider has basically destroyed the rest of the fencing that was left, I would say that some of the fans, now that the danger seems to be over, are streaming onto the docks and clapping and cheering for you for defeating this very well-known supervillain.
I'm going to make Moon and Charlotte pose with those pictures.
Yeah,
I
and
do
with
it very
this,
awkwardly.
Yeah.
with this brief moment of triumph that the Renegades so rarely get, I'm gonna say we'll end this arc and this episode.
Oh,
Oh boy.
did it, guys. We did it.
Max was
I
going
don't
through
I don't feel like we've won.
I did.
This
I rolled very well.
It's not the end of a Waypoint arc. If there isn't a big action scene, the villain only kinda loses, and Transistor is there.
Yes.
So all of these happened.
That's the checklist on your bingo.
Yeah, exactly. This was a big one.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it like shook out really with some really cool moments. I'm gonna have fun editing this and maybe putting some cool music to some of the more dramatic scenes. And I hope you had fun playing. The next thing we're gonna do is most likely gonna be the next like in between episode, which will be our 3 heroes getting to talk to 3 SOS members about all sorts of things.
Nice.
Did y'all have fun?
Yeah.
Yes. But also I need to emotionally prepare for the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely an emotional rough arc on Charlotte.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was just really glad that Max fucked up so bad. It
Yeah,
so
that was
Yeah.
like really, really cool. So
Yeah, that was one of the coolest moments we had. Like maybe the coolest moment in the episode.
Yeah.
Ending things out here, do you have anything that you want to talk about? Anything you want to plug?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, what do you got?
I'm watching Guardian right now, which is a Chinese web series based on a web novel by Priest. And it's really, really cool, and everything is on YouTube. And if you have any kind of interest in like supernatural stuff or Dunmade, then or BL, then really check this out. It's really, really good.
Okay.
I know I'm
Nice.
late. It was published in 2018, so but it's really, really good. So I would definitely recommend it to everyone. It's a really cool story.
I would like to plug a
Sure.
book series that's also in audiobook form if you prefer that. And that's Dreadnought by April Daniels. I've been re-listening to it recently, and it fits very well if you you are here, so you like superhero, teenagers, coming-of-age stories, queer people, hopefully. If you don't like queer people, please do not continue listening to our podcast.
If you don't like queer people, we haven't made things clear enough yet.
Yeah, we have failed.
Yeah.
All of us are very queer, all right?
Yeah, so Dreadnought is about a trans girl who gets basically the superpowers of like the Superman version of this universe, which actually transforms her body into her ideal self. So she transitions. And now she has to deal with being outwardly a girl also, and her very, very unapproving father and family, and dealing with the mantle that comes with being like having the powers of the biggest superhero thrust upon you and still being a teenager. And it's very, very good.
Actually, while we're already on the topic of trans superheroes, something I want to plug, and I can't imagine that a lot of people who listen to Waypoint haven't heard of that yet, but I'd like to plug another superhero AP podcast. I'd like to plug Super Idols. I'm obsessed with Super Idols. I love Super Idols. if I had listened to Super Idols before I started Waypoint, I would have stolen so much from it. It's awesome. It does have a really cool concept for a trans magical girl superhero who like changes forms, and I don't want to spoil too much because this person is very secretive about their identity, so I'll keep that hidden. So definitely check out Super Idols, especially if you're like into teen superhero settings that are more like high school based, because that's kind of where that one goes a lot more than Waypoint, where all of our characters are just curiously not at school anymore.
At some point, we're going to have to talk about Max's education.
the training videos.
You mean the Dreamland Indoctrination Inc.?
Yes.
Do you have something for us, Mimi?
I do, actually. I want to plug Clever Corvids Productions. We actually participated in a charity live stream they organized for abortion rights in Texas. And they just came out with a new podcast called Demon, Love and Hellfire. And the first episode is called Florida Man Sees Bird Battle Statue, and I don't think I have to plug anymore because that sounds just awesome.
Yes. Like the title alone is a seller.
We also did that live stream, like, I think 5 to 7 weeks ago, depending on when this episode
I mean,
goes
by
out.
this time it might be on YouTube.
Yeah, probably. We did a pretty fun game there.
Yeah,
Check out
check
the
it
Waypoint
out.
game.
Mimi did a really good job as the GM, and the players were amazing.
And with everything plugged, nice and no, I'm not going to continue that.
Yeah, I was just
did
gonna
that,
don't
like,
say it.
I did that like 2 to 3 times already. I can't keep doing this. We're gonna tell you where to find us. Go on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or TikTok at WaypointPod. And otherwise, until next time, when the Renegades get to meet with the true, well-known heroes of the city, I will say goodbye.
Bye.